Hello and welcome to my SPR600 Practical Test 2 video report. My name is Ilya and today I'll be going over my Elasticsearch query threat hunting demonstration. I'll be showing you the kind of query I used in order to hunt down a lateral tool transfer technique known as technique number 1570 or formerly as technique number 1060. And I'll be showing you why I particularly like this specific query in order to hunt for this specific technique. And I'll be using it in this particular scenario where it was done based off a scenario that was done by MITRE in a event called Brawl Public Game. So I'll be sure to link that in the video if you want for reference for it. That being said, I'm going to get right into it and I'm going to explain why I like this query so much. So in my particular case, I was trying to look for any kind of instance of where the threat agent is trying to use the command tool, the command.exe program, in order to copy any kind of a malicious file over to a admin share in order to perform some sort of lateral movement. And in this case, when I searched the simple query, just copy just to see what shows up, we can see that in the command line field that there are instances where the command tool is being run where it's trying to copy a program such as the and.exe, which has been identified as a malicious file, and it's trying to copy it to one of the domain workstations via the administrative share folder, and then they're trying to copy it as a new file in order to make sure that people are not aware that this malicious file is actually a malicious file, and it's actually potentially something not malicious. And as such, we can see we have 30 hits here, but around half of this is actually noise and not actually malicious activity. So we can consider this as false positives. And I want to create a query that could actually decisively figure out which one of these copies is actually malicious and doing a lateral tool transfer technique. So the way I did it, I created this query right here. It says data model fields parent _exe and exe or raised or born or west or Philadelphia.exe and data model fields command line command/c copy and // at or -pc.brawlcode.com/c $. So let me elaborate a little bit more because that was a little bit of a mouthful. So essentially the first query we're doing is that we are searching for all parent processes that are associated with the malicious file that we've discovered previously in our report, in our analytical guided threat hunting report. And as such, we found that these specific executable files and.exe, raised.exe, born.exe, west.exe, and Philadelphia.exe are the malicious files that are trying to be spread over across the network. Now, what we want to do is we want to try and figure out which one of these parent processes are within themselves trying to call the tool, the command program, and try to copy itself onto the shares across the network. So we're going to say join this field with all these variables with the command line field, which will essentially search for any parent process with these files and see which one of them is calling the command tool while with the arguments of copy. And we're going to be joining it with the //star-pc.co.com. The reason we want to do this is because, as we can see later on, the attacker was trying to copy as many of these files as they could across the network through many different workstations. So we want to search as many of these workstation or domain workstations as possible with the star, where they would be, for example, I believe if we go here, there's one called mims-pc. There's one called oystermeyer.pc. You get the idea. So it's trying to spread itself as much as possible laterally. And we're also going to specify the $, which is the admin share, because this is definitively how we prove that a threat agent is trying to spread a malicious tool to across an environment using an admin share. So we have to specify that specific directory. So that being said, we're going to actually copy this query and we're going to paste it here. We're going to make sure we have the times set correctly as well. We actually can zoom in between what times these attacks were occurring. So now we've actually reduced it down to 15, and as we can see here, now it's actually picking up all the copy arguments that have been passed by the command that have been issued by the malicious files themselves. And we keep going through all of them. We can also see the process IDs as well, and the processes, which also link up to the malicious files as well. For example, 3468. If we look up over here, yes, I forgot. Also make sure that it's not Splunk, because a lot of Splunk here. I guess we in general, there's going to be some Splunk traffic that is not particularly necessary. It becomes noise, but there's a filter that I'm not going to include here just yet. But anyway, 3468 typically would associate with the and.exe file. Now, I'll go back to here. We can actually verify whether or not these specific hits are associated with our lateral tool transfer attacks. And we can do this by going to the, where is it? The BSF PracticalTest2 index. We're going to get rid of the query. And we're going to search up the technique name should equal, in this case, it'll be called remote file copy, which was what the technique number 1060 was named before until they changed it, right? So we have exactly 15 hits, exactly what we have back in our query. So we know that our query is actually efficient and accurate when it comes to dealing with this particular attack. Now, if we want to verify even further, we can take one of these event IDs, for example, this one, and we'll copy it here. Instead of and, we'll do or. Mistake. We'll do this one. Actually, let's get rid of this. We don't need this part. There you go. So it's associating between these, just the attack technique information and the event information. So we can see, for example, process ID is 3968 and PPID or parent process would be 3468. So if we search that up before, let's just go to a different tab. And I want to do also see mistake there. There you go. PPID will be 3468. Oh, I see why. It's because of this. Oh, sorry. Is it 3968? Must have the times wrong. That's why. Let me expand this. There you go. So the times were wrong. So anyway, if we expand this up, and then we can see right here again, the command copy command was called. It was trying to take this and.exe malicious file and then spread it on one of the workstations on the administrator file. And if we go looking down into the process ID and PID, we can match it up right here. So we've definitively showed that my query is effective at finding the lateral tool transfer technique using just the parent process ID of the known malicious files that we detected before, and using just the, pull up over here, just the command line of showing which kind of copy command was being run by the command program, and and which directory or which environment is trying to share it towards. And with that being said, you can actually fine tune this to your own environment. You can specify these parent IDs to be any kind of malicious file in your own hunting exercises, and then here you can change the command copy to be something else like FTP, for example, if they're trying to do using FTP or SCP. You can also change the location of where they're sending it to be a local share file, for example. And as such, this will be an effective way for you to determine whether or not your system has been targeted by a lateral transfer MITRE attack technique. So that was the end of my demonstration. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a better understanding of how to use this query in order to perform your hunting exercises. Then again, this was a very challenging task for me, especially over how much time I spent on doing this, but in the end, I find this particular query was very successful in the task it was trying to do. So thank you again so much for watching, and have a great day.